Here Maha refers to anything big, great, large, and here in this context it refers to one who has many glorious eyes, who has got Garuda as his flag. Garuda can also be referred to as the flag of Sri Vishnu, to the incomparability of what he cannot be compared to anything else. Why? Because the Atma is completely eternal. Here in this context, we have to look at the larger perspective of why everyone is afraid of him as the Lord. The supreme knowledge obtained through all criteria of knowledge is referred to here as the Sarva Lakshanam. How did he end up an eagle? End up becoming the vehicle of the Lord God. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Ram. Welcome back to the Glaze Studios oil painting vlog number 37 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamavali. This is a painting that follows the principle of calligram or micrography to paint the 1000 names of Sri Vishnu. While the painting is going on, I am also trying to understand the deeper meanings behind these 1000 names, taking help from scriptures within Sanatana Dharma. The same, whatever I am learning as an amateur, I am also sharing with you gladly via these weekly vlogs. In a typical vlog, you will see that we are covering 10 names with their meanings, and then we start taking some tangential perspectives with the help of certain scriptures. We have already covered names up to 350 in the previous vlogs. So if you haven't checked that out, please do so and come back, because though we are covering typically 10 names in each of these vlogs, you will notice that I am frequently referring to the older videos or the vlogs, because there are highly interconnected references coming out of these names. So that's exactly why I keep referring, and it will be more helpful, more interesting for you if you had checked it out before as well. So this video is going to cover names 351 through 360, and then we looked at the Vahana or the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, that is Garuda, the gigantic eagle. How did he become Lord Vishnu's vehicle is what we are going to cover today. Without much ado, let's get on to the names and the meanings first, starting with the 351st name, Om Ruddhaya Namaha. Ruddha is a name I think we have covered many times, but in this context, it means one who is seen as standing in the form of the world. So he is also, Lord is also taking the form of the world in this particular context. The formation itself is him in a way. 352nd name is Om Vriddhatmane Namaha. Vriddha could refer to anything ancient or old, not necessarily pointing to anything weak. Old in terms of experience, exposure, that could be a perspective taken from this particular context. Atma would refer to the soul. So let's understand Vriddhatmane Namaha here, one whose Atma is Vriddha or ancient. So the soul that we have is always ancient. We don't know the age of our soul. We can only calculate the body age and tell what exactly is our age, how old we are, isn't it? The answer is usually coming from the biological clock that we are calculating, and not necessarily from the etherical or the spiritual clock, because we don't know that the Atma is eternal, the Atma is Vriddha or ancient. Let's move on to the 353rd name, which is Om Mahakshaya Namaha. Here Maha refers to anything big, great, large, and here in this context it refers to one who has many glorious eyes. 354th name is Om Garuda Namaha. Garuda is arriving. Garuda is the gigantic eagle. And here in this context, Dvaja is also mentioned. Dvaja refers to a flag. So one who has got Garuda as his flag. Garuda can also be, referred to as the flag of Sri Vishnu, but he is more importantly the vehicle of Sri Vishnu. So we are going to look at him in a short while from now. Let's move on to the 355th name, which is Om Atulaya Namaha. Refers to one who cannot be compared to anything else. Tulna in a very simple Hindi term, I would say Tulna is pointing to anything that we are trying to compare, contrast. Here Atulaya Namaha refers to the incomparability of what? He cannot be compared to anything else. Why? Because the Atma is completely eternal. Only when we know the age of certain things, only when we know any of the dimensions that we are aware of, we can compare, isn't it? If I have to compare a notebook and a book, then I will say, okay, who is it written by? How old is it? A lot of questions around it will help me compare how good is it, the quality. But if the Atma is eternal and ancient, there will be no chance for such a comparison. 356th name refers to the body here. Let's look at the name. Om Sarabhaya Namaha. The body is called Sara as it is perishable. We talked about the Atma, and now the meaning here is kind of incomplete, and I did try my best to find alternatives. I couldn't. In case you know more, please do share. From the context of my understanding here, I would say we talked about the Atma that is imperishable, incomparable, versus the body, the physical body that we have currently, we hold on to, is perishable. The 357th name is Om Bhimaya Ramaha. The literal meaning referred to here in this context is one whom everyone is afraid of, and the word afraid is usually misunderstood, and I want to add on my thought here to this. One is to be afraid of something only when somebody has violated certain principles of nature, let's say. So here in this context, we have to look at the larger perspective of why everyone is afraid of him as the Lord. Not everyone necessarily, everyone in the context of everyone that is, or anyone that has committed a sin maybe, or violated a natural principle maybe, should be afraid of him. 358th name is Om Samayajnaya Namaha. Samaya refers to time. And here, in this context, it refers to one who knows the time for creation, sustenance, and dissolution. He who knows the balance between when to bring something new into action, and when to maintain it, when to close it. 359th name is Om Havirharaye Namaha. This refers to one who takes the portion of offerings, that is havis, in a yajna. In a typical yajna that you might have noticed, there is a square form of brick or a circular form of brick that is made, and within that there is wood and there is fire in it. And you might have noticed people are putting or offering something like maybe food or fruits or liquid like milk or ghee, that is clarified butter, and so on. So many things are being put inside the fire. From an outside perspective, we can think of it, oh, something is getting burnt, but not necessarily. It is an offering to one of the 5 larger elements. One of the element is fire. When you are offering, and that offering is called havis, and the havis is believed to be received by him, the Lord himself. To connect the dots to vlog number 9, where we talked about Hayagriva, it's one of the rare avatars that is believed to be still existing in this material world as we know it, and is also someone who takes the responsibility of receiving the havis. So he is there to receive the havis. That is also another context that I wanted to add on to this. 360th name is Om Sarva Lakshana Lakshanyaya Namaha. The name is totally big. Lakshana refers to a kind of, prescribed dimensions of beauty, yeah. But the beauty is not the kind of beauty that we think of from a bodily perspective, because we understand the body, the shara, is perishable. So the beauty of the Atma is what should be compared to here. Sarva refers to everything. Sarva Lakshana Lakshanyaya Namaha points to the supreme knowledge. So the beauty comes from where? Being the supreme knowledge. The supreme knowledge obtained through all criteria of knowledge is referred to here as the Sarva Lakshanam. Yeah? The eternal beauty is actually supreme knowledge, being aware of all things, material and immaterial. With that, we come to the end of these 10 names, and let's now move on to, or jump on to, Lord Vishnu's vehicle, the gigantic eagle Garuda. For that, I'm going to take the help of Bhagavad Gita, Canto number 10, verse 30. Canto 10 is essentially the verse where he is also pointing to different aspects or forms that we can look out for and see him if we really want to see some material forms of him. Yeah. So here it goes. 30 is Prahladas-chasmi Daityanam Kalaha Kalayatam Aham Mruganam Cha Mrugendraha Aham Vainateyaha Cha Pakshinam. This points to Prahladas-chasmi, Prahlada also I am, Daityanam of the demons, Kalaha time, Kalayatam of subduers, Aham I am, Mruganam of animals, Cha, and Mrugendra, that is pointing to the lion, Aham I am. Vainateyaha points to Vinatha's son. Who is Vinatha? We will also look at Vinatha's son. He is Garuda. Vinatha's son is Garuda. That's what is being pointed to. Cha also Pakshinam of birds. Let's read the meaning together. Among the Daityas, know me to be the devotee Prahlada. Remember, Prahlada comes from this Daitya or demon family, yet he is the ardent devotee of Sri Vishnu. The little Prahlada, I think we understood that story from Narasimha Avatar. Okay, so among the Daityas, know me to be the devotee Prahlada. Of the reckoners, know me to be the time. Amongst the quadrupeds, the animals, four-legged animals, I am the lion, and among the birds, I am the Garuda, that is Vinatha's son. Let's look at the story of Garuda. How did he end up, an eagle, end up becoming the vehicle of the Lord God? Yeah. So we have to go back in time immemorial to the Saptarishis, the 7 sages, and one of the Saptarishis is Kashyapa. We have talked about Kashyapa many times when we know also that Indra, Lord Indra, the celestial God, is also a son of Kashyapa. Kashyapa had 13 wives, and about 11 of them had children. The rest of the two, Kadru and Vinatha, ended up not having children for a long time. So here in this context, children we should not be understanding, again the rishis we should not be understanding as only the human forms. They could have been different celestial forms or different forms that we might not comprehend at this point in time. The duty was to generate different species in the world. So the children that are born not necessarily are the children as we know, the humans as we know. So there are also animals getting generated, and I think in today's context it's more relevant. A 10,000-year-old wolf is now brought back by use of genetics science. So who is the father and mother of this wolf that is now born? These wolves do not have a parent, or maybe the humans, the scientists that have done the study are the parents. So can you see that this is also something that's possible even today? So these wives of Kashyapa were having the duty to create different species, and here Kadru and Vinatha, being two of those wives, did not have children, so they had to do a kind of yajna we talked about, isn't it? So it's kind of a prayer where the offerings are done and the harvest is coming out, and from that harvest, the offering, there will be certain portions of it that will be retained as a, you can always think of it as a prasadam, or maybe a small gift that is coming back to the family that is doing the yajna, and they take it in a total belief that whatever challenge that they are facing comes to an end. And while this yajna was going on, there was a group of people called Vālakilyars that attended this yajna, because a lot of people were called. People meaning not just humans, any celestial forms. In this particular situation, we need to understand that even the earth is not fully formed, so there are still species yet to be created. So maybe those who were invited were only celestial forms, but the Vālakilyar were dwarf forms, minute forms of individuals. Indra, who is also Kashyapa's son, came to attend this event, and he kind of made fun of these dwarf-like things. Indra gets into trouble for no reason, and this time also he is in trouble, and he gets a curse of the sages that there will be somebody very brave to take you down. Yeah, let's put this curse aside and move on to the story, because these two women are now wanting to have children. The yajna's whole purpose was to do, get away with whatever challenge that they are facing, and as a result of the yajna, they are consuming the harvest. Of course, after offering the harvest to the god, whatever is left over is being consumed by this woman, and as a result, they are wishing for children. And right now, they are being asked, what type of children do you want? Kadru wishes for 104 children or 105 children, if I remember correctly. While Vinatha is smart, she is not asking for the number. She wants only a couple of children, but she is very much interested in having brave, bold, strong 2 children. That is her wish. The wish is granted, and they are receiving in a form eggs. Yeah. What did Kadru want? She wanted 105. And these 105 eggs, when they cracked out, came the species called snakes. So beautiful. Snakes started crawling around, even snakes like Adishesha, Vasuki, and many other snakes came into being. But unfortunately, though both of them attended the same kind of yajna, same prayer, almost similar wish, the eggs also were received almost around the same timing. But Vinatha's two eggs did not crack out at all for a while. On the other hand, Kadru's children were growing big and she was getting a little bit nervous, anxiety, comparison. You should never compare, but humans, we do make the mistakes, and celestials also do that. So she did get excited, and what she did was to take out one of the eggs and try to crack it herself. What happened was that due to immature cracking of the egg, there came a bird, sort of a thing, that was very strong, very intelligent, bold from the top of the body, but lacked the legs. It's called Aruṇan. Aruṇan was much more depressed. His mother was impatient, and this impatience has resulted in him losing the legs. He is out of this particular depression. He is angry, and he also curses that she, the mother herself, will have to bear the fruits or the results of her actions, which is the curse itself, that she will become the servant of her own sister. That is the curse. But at the same time, he is also feeling a little bit sorry that it's his own mother. So he says, the second egg that you have, please protect it. Do not lose patience, and you will have a very strong and brave son coming out who will figure out how to resolve this issue. You will soon become what? You will soon become the slave of your own sister. So there is this curse happening, but aside from the curse, yet even after losing his legs, Aruṇan is still a brave and bold child, and Aruṇan goes on to become a brave charioteer. He is also the color of deep red, and he is also believed to be the charioteer that holds 634 horses, of whom Surya, the sun. So if you see the sunrise, the beautiful orangish hue that also comes out along with the sunrise, that is the period is called Aruna. It's just few moments before the sunrise. There is beautiful skyline that you can see. It's called Aruna, and you can also look at it from the point of view of horses and see that the way it is spreading out looks like there are 600 plus horses coming out in this orangish color. And that's why Aruṇan is referred to as the brave charioteer that brings the sun, the light, into the world every day. So that happens to Aruṇan. This egg is yet to crack up, which she has to wait patiently. But in between the patience and waiting, she does another mistake. But it's bound to happen because of the curse, maybe, that there is a competition going on always between the sisters. At one point, they discuss something unwanted. A Ucchaishravas horse that is standing at the banks of a river. Ucchaishravas is Indra's horse, and they discuss the beauty of this horse, and even in that discussion there is a competition. They end up discussing how beautiful the horse is, how white the horse is, and silky beauty, whatever. The discussion itself props up some kind of competition in the way they explain things to each other, and Kadru smartly sees a point where she can say, oh, by the way, it's not totally white, and I do see some darkness in the horse. This competition of arguing goes on to the level where, okay, if I prove that the horse is fully white, will you be my slave? And the vice versa. Will I if I prove otherwise, will you be my slave? And they agree to this kind of game, which gets serious to the level where Kadru uses one of her snakes, her own sons, as a catalyst to make sure that he goes and crawls up, the smaller one crawls up onto the body of Ucchaishravas like a form of a dot, so the speck that shows from a distance like a black spot. So Vinatha's challenge has gone wrong. She said it's totally white, and from a distance now it looks that it has a black spot. So she loses this game. What was the result? She has to become the servant or the slave of her own sister. She endures that. She goes on, and at one point in time, even Kadru thinks that she will never have proper children and nothing will happen to her, because the egg never materialized. There is one egg that gone wrong, and the son left her. The other egg, we never know when it's going to crack. But 500 years of waiting, the egg finally cracks up, and out comes Garuda. Garuda finally enters, and the splendor and sound, the energy that he throws is amazing. The way he flies up high, very close to the sun, is even endearing. This is again, okay, we are not done with the competition and the ego between the sisters. Kadru is now annoyed with this kind of largeness of the single son of her own sister, and she says, by the way, you are my slave, which means your son will also be my slave. So even though Garuda is so powerful, he is unable to use all his energy and power to the fullest because of the curse that he has. He also ends up becoming Kadru's and her sons, all the snakes, labor or slave. So what is expected? All these little snakes climb up this huge bird Garuda, and they ask him to take them over to different places because they cannot fly. So whatever wishes they have is being fulfilled through Garuda. This journey goes on until Nārada Muni, sage Nārada, enters and gives him an idea, a trick. He says that this curse and whatever has happened to your mother and you is all a result of some tricks of the trade. Yeah, so you need to learn how to be a little more tricky and smart around and use the same trick that was used against your mother to get out of this. So he is initiating Garuda to learn certain objectives, very important objectives, not necessarily to hurt anybody, but to just figure out a way to get out of the slavehood that he and his mother are struck in. So Garuda now again loads on all the snakes on his body and takes them over, but now he is a little more smart. He takes them a little more to a taller place, let's say higher space, more high, because Garuda can do it. He is a humongous eagle. He can do it. He's taking them to what? Vayu, the air, the Varuna, the waters, the rain, Surya Mandala. So wherever he's taking, he takes them more closer. What happens? Garuda can put up with this heat or the high winds or water, rain beating fast around his body. It's fine for an eagle. Is it fine for the snake? No. They get throttled around and they get tired. They are hurt. There are sunburns in the body. So Kadru is now disappointed what's happening to her sons. And Garuda says that I can help, but I want a deal. How can we help? The only way to help is to get the amrita that came out of the Samudra Manthan. Samudra Manthan we talked about in vlog 30. Yeah, the churning of the milk ocean brought about the nectar, and it is still holding on to a place which belongs to Indra, Lord Indra. So he has to go there and get these, the nectar or the amrita, which will cure the diseases or the burns that's on the body of the snakes. But in turn, he needs something. A deal has to be struck now. The deal is that the slavehood has to come to an end. Based on this agreement, Kadru allows the sister's son, Vinatha's son, to go and fetch this. And now he enters the location of whom? Of course, he takes the blessings of the Acharya, the Guru, and he also interim moves on to take the blessings of his own father, Kashyapa, and then he reaches where? Indra's place. Can you now remember or connect the dots to the yajna that happened from where the eggs were received, and during the yajna, Vālakilyars were made fun of by Indra. What was the curse that was given to him? That a brave person will come and take away the most important thing and also put him down, and that curse is going to materialize now. So everything has a cause and effect. There's a lot of fight going on, but in that particular process, the way the dedication with which he is fighting impresses Lord Vishnu. Ultimately, he gets this amrit. He is now blessed by Lord Vishnu. As an additional aspect, what is the blessing? The blessing is that Garuda himself will be the Vahana or the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. That is the blessing he receives. So he goes back and he hands over the amrit. Did it really get handed over to the snakes? That's a very interesting aspect. What he does is another trick, because he was not supposed to give it to the snakes as well. It belongs to Indra, and he had to really trick them into kind of receiving, asking them to follow some procedures before eating and such. And then in a grass spread, he says that I'm spreading some of the amrita for you to drink later when you are done with all your prayers and such. And that's how the procedure is. So you need to follow the process. And due to that, while they are waiting, the amrit goes off, and whatever is remaining on the grass is dharma grass, is sharp grass. They are trying to lick. In the process of licking, their tongue gets torn, and that's also a reason or a belief that the snake's tongue is always split into two. But that happens to the snakes. They don't end up getting everything, but they are cured in a way, sustained. This is also coming back to the thought process of why snakes and eagle never get along. There is a lot of learnings from this. What all can we learn? Impatience brings you down to what you need not necessarily be. So if you are performing at a particular level, your performance level goes down only because of your, or maybe one of the key catalysts is because of your impatience. That's something you could see in the case of Vinatha. The curses, there are multiple curses going back and forth. If you look at it, making fun of somebody that is lower than you is what Indra did with the Vālakilyars. And that curse, after many, many eons, comes back in a full circle when Garuda revisits him. So everything has a cause and effect. Another curse, again, impatience caused the curse, isn't it? So because of that, she somehow was tricked into, Vinatha, the mother of Garuda, was tricked into becoming a slave. But did it just stop with her? That tricking also not just affected her, but also affected her son. So whatever you do, the cause and effect has a ripple effect. It affects not just you, it affects few more generations ahead. But at the same time, the most important learning is the dedication that Garuda had. And even when he was asked not to use his full strength, he was in full dedication. When he was guided, he was in full dedication. Guided by Nārada, he was in full dedication. He was always dedicated to something larger than him. He is large, he is humongous. He could have used his power anywhere, anytime, in the way that he would have wanted. But he has been an adherent devotee of every single situation, not just an entity. Adherent devotee to every single situation that he was put in. That is the greatest learning coming out of this Garuda Purāṇam. I hope you found this very interesting. Please do share your thoughts on the same. Until we meet up in the next session, stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay motivated. Thank you.